guys? Thank you for tuning in to the BS Show. Brett and Steven here. We got our Quarantine Chronicles for this UFC 249 fight card. I am in the front seat of my Bugatti. Steven is in his front house in South Florida. And we are going to talk about the Henry Cejudo Dominick Cruz fight. And I don't know about you, Steven. I'm super pumped about the main event, but I'm almost as equally as pumped for this fight.
Man, this one for me was kind of a sleeper. I felt bad for Jose Aldo and Dominick Cruz weaseled his way in there. But then I started thinking about Dominick Cruz's legacy and how the guy's had such bad luck, but he keeps coming back after 3-year layoffs and winning big fights. So this would be historical if he could get it done and beat Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion, a 2-weight champion. I mean, this is going to be a killer one, and I'm excited about it.
Well, and this is the third time in his fight career that he's came back after an extended layoff. You know, he had that 3-year layoff. He came back and won the belt. And then I believe he had a year layoff. He came back and won the belt. And I'm not sure how long it's been this time, but I know it's been quite some time.
Yeah.
So now he's about as top as high as you can get, you know, in the bantamweight division right now. And I'm super pumped because, you know, Donald Cerrone and Dominick Cruz are the two guys that got me in fighting for two completely different reasons. Dominick Cruz's movement and his ability to stay elusive is what drew me to him. I was like, good Lord, that guy doesn't stop moving. How does he not get tired? How can nobody hit him? You know, he's beating the best on a consistent basis. And that's when I really started to like him.
I mean, look how many people stole that footwork from him. TJ Dillashaw made a career off of what Dominick Cruz does. You know what I mean? People looked at that style and like, hey, this works really well in MMA for moving, being elusive, getting in and out, just being really quick on the feet like a Muhammad Ali. And yeah, I completely agree. Both of these fighters, too, have beat very similar people. They both beat DJ, who's a GOAT. They both beat TJ, who in my opinion is a GOAT also. I know he's had a bad luck, or well, he's done some bad things, but I still think he's a really, really great fighter in my opinion. But he's done some bad things in the past. Yeah, I'm stoked for this one. At first, I was kind of disappointed because I did want to see that Jose Aldo versus Henry Cejudo fight, but now I'm all about it. I can't wait for this one.
Dude. So the thing that I don't understand, or not even understand, that I don't know what's going to happen is what Dominick Cruz is going to show up. I mean, we've seen this guy come back from prolonged injury after prolonged injury on multiple occasions, but we still have to understand he's getting older too. As these years go by, his body is, you know, he's getting older and older and older. And Father Time is undefeated up to this point. Mm-hmm. So eventually, one has to think that that's got to catch up to you eventually. You might just be a hair slower or your footwork slow, but when you're fighting a young killer like a Henry Cejudo, who's got that great wrestling, he's a gold medalist, but he's also got great hands, and you and I have both talked about his hands are getting better and better with every single fight. And it's almost like Henry Cejudo is coming into himself. He's found that confidence. Now he's beaten two legit, you know, GOATs, like you said, that you could make an argument for. So now, not only is his talent there, what Dominick Cruz is going to be able to do at that high level that Henry Cejudo hasn't seen already.
Just to touch on that point, yeah, we have talked about it a lot because Henry Cejudo used to rely on his wrestling so much, and then his striking started getting there, and he started getting a little bit better, beating Sergio Pettis, showing that he could actually fight a striker and beat him. He also beat Marlon Moraes, who's a killer, a striker, knocks out people with head kicks, has the quickest head kicks in the game. DJ, who's a crazy striker. TJ Dillashaw, who's a crazy striker. So people would think Henry Cejudo is not a striker. No, absolutely not. You're wrong. He's a legitimate top-level striker now. I'll put my money on it, too. So this is going to be a fun one. And as for Dominick Cruz, man, I'm with you. We don't know what Dominick Cruz we're going to get. We haven't seen the guy in forever. We know he's a great commentator. We know when it comes to mental strength, he's got to have the best mental strength in the UFC, but it's just unfortunate because he has the weakest body in the UFC. So they kind of meet in the middle. So let's get to our fight picks. Who you think's going to win? How you see this one going? I know it's a little hazy just because we haven't seen much of Dominick Cruz lately. And Henry Cejudo, he's just been looking like a world beater. So it'd be kind of crazy for either of us to pick Dominick Cruz. But who you going with?
Well, I think the key to this is it's no shocker. What is Dominick Cruz that he can beat a guy like Cejudo? A guy, he can't take Cejudo down because Cejudo's a gold medal wrestler.
Yeah.
He can't stand and bang with Cejudo because Cejudo's shown that he can stand and bang with the best of them. Him putting the whipping on Marlon Moraes, right? The way that he Marlon Moraes is a big dude. He cuts a lot of weight to get to the bantamweight division. And in the first round, we thought Marlon Moraes was going to mop the floor with Henry Cejudo. Then Henry Cejudo comes out in round 2 and just blitzkriegs that guy, and it looks completely different. Cejudo is sharp, he's smart, and he almost just has that tenacity and that willingness to do whatever it win. So I think on one hand, you're going to have Dominick Cruz on his bike, and he's going to be not running in a bad way, but with his movement, and he's going to try to stay elusive and stay away. But I'm going to have to go with Cejudo, man. I love Dominick Cruz. I've been a fan. I would be very happy for Dominick Cruz. Just see Henry Cejudo right now is almost kind of like a man amongst boys in that bantamweight division. And a lot of people think that he's going to do even better in the bantamweight because now he's not depleting his body to where he's going to have that energy. He's going to have that strength. So I'm going to go Henry Cejudo. I definitely think it's probably going to be a decision, and it's probably going to be a fairly close decision. But I think what's going to end up happening is Cejudo's going to land a little bit more damage. He might land a few takedowns, and I think over the course of the 5-round fight, this layoff, has never affected Cruz up to this point, but I think that we might see it for the first time. It actually affecting his performance.
Yeah, maybe that how awkward this fight is, UFC 249, and the protocols and the difference between other fight cards because of the whole coronavirus. Maybe you'll put them on equal playing fields because of everything going on. This is weird for all the fighters, and I could tell it's going to be different. The fight week's going to be different, leading all the way up to the fight. But I'm with you, Henry Cejudo. Ever since he got his nutritionist, he put that weight on healthy, and he looks good. I mean, Dominick Cruz, I feel like he can wrestle with Henry Cejudo because he doesn't use like strict Olympic wrestling or normal Roman wrestling. He uses MMA wrestling where he kind of moves a lot and he takes you down at weird angles with his feints and everything. You don't see his takedowns coming, and I think that's what makes Dominick Cruz so scary and so hard to fight is because you can't see anything coming. He doesn't telegraph anything. He's just good at hitting you without you seeing it, good at taking you down without you seeing it. But we'll be complete idiots if we didn't pick Henry Cejudo because he's been looking like an absolute world beater. He's been beating champions. He's beat the GOAT DJ. Like I said, beat TJ. I mean, how can he go against Henry Cejudo right now? But I'm with you. I'm going with Henry Cejudo. But I like Dominick Cruz, and if he won, I'm all for that because that's a great story. Comes back off after another layoff and wins the belt once more. I mean, you can make a movie out of that if that actually ends up happening.
Right. And I love Dominick Cruz, man. I've been a fan forever. His movement is just so fun to watch. It's almost like poetry in motion.
Definitely.
And it's fun. It's fun because watching people swing and miss, and then, they swing so hard they almost fall down because they get so irritated that they can't touch this guy. Then they start loading up. Mm-hmm. And is that something that could possibly happen with Cejudo? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Dominick Cruz might be. He's got a lot of great fighters in that camp. So he's training with the best. He's always been great on his nutrition. He's always been a very strong-minded guy. So who knows? Maybe not having a crowd, no hype, maybe that's what Dominick Cruz needs. Maybe it's just my mental toughness versus yours. Let's get it and see what happens. But, if I was in Vegas betting $1 million, I would put it on Cejudo. But, I mean, don't...
Did you say $1 million?
But it's not my money. I'm just betting the money. But make no mistake about it, I would not be totally shocked if Dominick Cruz won. I might say, yeah, I didn't see that coming, but I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, the biggest upset in UFC history. So I'm just praying both guys make it. There's no injuries or no illnesses, and I just want to see a good fight, especially between two deserving guys. You know, although the king of cringe can be cringy at times and kind of annoying, you can't deny the dude's a stud. And, you know, Dominick Cruz has beaten, you know, the who's who in the bantamweight division. So it's going to be a great fight.
I'm excited. This is kind of like new school versus old school in a way.
Right. This might be the last line of defense for Henry Cejudo to take over the bantamweight division. I mean, he's already beaten Demetrius Johnson, you know, that was considered the GOAT in the flyweight, but then he beat, you know, the champion forever, TJ Dillashaw. You know, now if he knocks off Dominick Cruz, we might see a Henry Cejudo against Cody Garbrandt fight. We might see a Henry Cejudo Jose Aldo fight. I mean, if Henry Cejudo wins this, he's going to be the king, and he can really kind of pick what he wants to do. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope everybody watches the fight, UFC 249 on Saturday. We appreciate you watching. Tell your friends about us, like us, share us, and we'll see you later.
Cool.
Peace.
Peace.